Welcome back again, and today we're starting off with our lesson number 8. And don't forget, we're still in our second module, which is data handling and essential skills functions. Okay, and today we're starting off with our lesson number 8, which we shall see the basics functions, text functions within the Excel. And this mainly we shall cover what we call the cleaning and standardizing messy text. And as you can see over my screen here, we shall cover 4 functions which mainly apply to this section, which are we shall see what we call the upper function, the lower, the proper, and we shall close it with a trim function. And over here we see a step guide what it does basically into the Excel. Now, what if you want to use the upper function? Upper function mainly makes everything to look uppercase, or you have your names in small letters. So if you want to capitalize them or to put them in the uppercase, you use a function called the uppercase, which we shall see later on step by step. And second, we have the lower function. This mainly it makes everything into a lowercase. Imagine you have your text, it's mixed, it has some uppercase letters and small letters. So within this, when you want to clean it to get the same format of the text, you use what we call the lower function. And we have what we call the proper. Now this mainly capitalizes each words, the beginning, each word from the beginning to the end. In case you have two names within your Excel file, as you can see here, John Smith, but it has some upper letters in between it at the beginning or at the end. So what it does, the proper function, it capitalizes the first letter within your name and make the rest to be the lower. So in case you want to format your text to look nice or better, as you can see one example here, so you need to use what we call the proper function. And lastly, we shall see what a trim does. Now a trim removes extra spaces within your text. Now imagine, assuming you copied some data from your website or from a server, you copying them from the website, then you return them to your Excel sheet and you want to start cleaning, or so you'll use trim function to remove those extra spaces in between the words, as we shall see in front step by step. So let's begin with, I have my simple table here, as you can see, and I have my original text. As you can see, some letters are in uppercase, lowercase, there are spaces in between them. Some letters, they don't look nice, they don't do whatever. So we shall perform what we call the cleaning and standardizing messy text. Mainly, we shall use what we call the upper, lower, proper, and trim function. So let's start off with the proper function. So how to use the proper function within here? So we have our original text, which is John Smith, our name. So we want to make this into a uppercase. What we shall do, you click your cell where you want your result to be, and you start off with your equal sign. Remember, any formula, any function starts off with an equal sign. So we shall start off writing our equal sign in between there. Then we start writing our function, which is upper function. And when you start writing, Excel will pull out that function which looks similar to the word you're typing. So you just double click on it. So it will ask you for the text or the cell you want to format. So I'll just highlight my cell in original text column, which is cell J6. So I'll just highlight it there. Then I close my brackets. Then I hit enter. As you can see, we've got our results and our name is now in a uppercase. as you can see there. So what will I do? I'll just click here and I drag this all the way down so that the formula or the function is applied to each and every cell within my text column. As you can see, now I've got my result, all my names, they're in uppercase function. Let me just highlight this so that you can identify them. As you can see, all my names are being highlighted. So that's how we use the upper function within the Excel. Let's see how to use the lower. Now, assuming you've got your names as they are right now, they're in uppercase, and you want to make them to be in the lower case. What you do, you use what we call the lower function. How to do it? You click on your cell where you want your data to be, then you start off with the equal sign, then you start writing your lower function. Now, as I told you, Excel will pull out that exactly function you want to use. So when you see it, just double click it. As you can see, then it will ask you for the text or the cell where your text is so that it can apply the function you want to apply. So I'll just highlight this cell which is K6, then I close the bracket over there, then I hit enter. As you can see, we've got our John Smith in the lower case. So what will I do next? I'll just double click here and all my result will be dragged till the end. So that's how we use the lowercase within our Excel. Let me just highlight this so that you can see our result. So what we shall do next, we shall see what we call the proper function. As I told you, the proper function, now assuming, as you can see this cell here, this cell, maybe it has the lower case, right? But you don't want, you want the words to be proper. When by the start of the line, by the start of the end, the name, the first letter should be in uppercase and the rest should be in the lowercase. Now, in this case, you use what we call the proper function. How to use it? Let's see. You just click a cell where where you want your result to be. You start off with your equal sign, then you start typing what we call the proper function, and Excel will definitely pull out that function within there. Then you just need to double click it. It will ask you for the text or the cell you want to apply your function. So I'll just highlight this cell which is L6. I close my brackets, then I hit enter. As you can see, now what will I do next? I'll just click on my results, then I double click here and my result will be applied all the way down. Let me just highlight this and I give it this color. As you can see, we've received our result. Now this is what we call the proper function or the power proper function. It capitalizes the first letter of the name and leaves the rest in the lowercase. So if you want to standardize your text when you're performing cleaning within your Excel, so it's better you use the proper function. So we shall see what we call the trim function. As I told you earlier, the trim function removes some extra spaces within your names or within your cells. Now, assuming, as I told you, you copy your work or your data through anywhere from the website, and that data comes within the words they have some crowded spaces, as you can see. So within here, to clean it, you use what we call the trim function within there. How to do it? You just click any cell you want your result to be, then you start off with an equal sign, then you start writing the trim function, as you can see. Then when it pops up here, you just double click it, you select your cell or your data where you want to perform that function, then you close the bracket, then you hit enter, as you can see. Then over here, you just double click it, then it will automatically copy the result all the way down. So That's how we use the upper, lower, and proper function and plus the trim to clean and to standardize messy text when we performing what we call the cleaning within our Excel. Now, I have another example here whereby I have my emails and some of them they are in some of them, as you can see, some of them start off with capital letters in between them, and this doesn't look good. Some of them they have big letters, and some of them they are small and big. Some of them maybe they have spaces in between them right there. Now, in this case, we shall use what we call the lower function and the trim function. And basically, the lower function and the trim function is good when you handling the emails side. You want to clean the emails. So let's see how we can use the lower on the email. So click anywhere into your cell where you want your result to be. Start off with the equal sign. Then you start typing the lower function. You double click here. Then our text will be our first email there. We close that. Then we hit enter. As you can see, we've got a good or a nice format. What we shall do next, just double click there. Then all the result will be copied or dragged down all the way down. But as you can see, maybe there are some spaces within them. So we shall do what we call the trimming, or to remove the space. Now over here, again, start off with your equal sign, then write what we call the trim function within there. Then you just double click it there, you highlight the cell and you close the bracket, then you hit enter. After that, you click the cell again, then you drag it all the way down, or you double click so that you can copy your result, or the formula can autofill the rest of the cells. So that's how basically we use what we call the basic text function in cleaning and standardizing the messy text within our Excel. Okay, and that's the end of the lesson number 8. Hope to see you in the next lesson number 9. Okay, make sure you like, you follow, and let's meet in the comment section. Where you did not understand, reach out to me through the comment section. I'll guide you step by step. Otherwise, thank you. See you in the next lesson.